And we're live. We're live for another episode of NFG Radio. If you guys haven't already, this is Shad Gaspard, WWE veteran of crime time, actor in Hollywood these days, script writer. He's doing it all. If you missed the first few episodes, you really missed out. Go check him out. I just want to plug this really quickly at the beginning. I have made an official stream for the NFG Radio show. So if you have if you're already following the TWC show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you have to follow this separately for this show. So find NFG Radio. You can type in NFG Radio. You can type in Shad Gaspard. It'll pop up. Subscribe to that video because I wanted this to have its own exclusive stream because it's its own exclusive show now. Conversation to its own show. So just make sure you guys subscribe. The videos will still be on my YouTube channel. But we'll see what happens in the future. As of right now, they're still on my YouTube channel, but we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe we'll make an NFG YouTube radio or something too. I don't know.
No, man. I like so if you're following me on Instagram right now live, go to what's the YouTube?
The Wrestling Classic. It's the same name. The Wrestling Classic.
Yeah, go to Wrestling Classic YouTube, and you can follow us live on YouTube, and we'll answer questions on there. I'll try to get some of the questions on here, like when we coming back. Jesus Christ, I answer that question like all the goddamn time. Or any of the other questions that pop on here, you know what I'm saying? I'll try to answer. But we're going to do simultaneously. I'll do my live stream and we'll do it on the Wrestling Classic.
Because we have a ton of stuff to talk about, but we do want to answer your guys' questions too.
Yeah.
How's quarantine going? How's it going?
I feel good. Last week's show was good. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just telling you, I normally don't get so relaxed, you know what I'm saying? But we've had good interviews before.
Yeah.
And based on those interviews, we kind of decided to do this podcast where like I could just naturally talk about things in the business and how I feel. And not just how I feel, but how most people feel. But they don't have a microphone to say so.
And
you know what I mean?
NFG Radio it is wrestling. Yes, we're going to talk about wrestling, but it's more than just wrestling. We're going to talk about Hollywood and acting and stuff you're doing outside of wrestling. We're going to talk about news if it's a big deal. There is something I might pick your brain about at the end of this show as the very last conversation. I'm going to save it for the end because it might get a little political. But
it's all good. I'm okay getting political. People already know I'm an asshole when it comes to politics. Unfortunately, I'm
forward. It's called NFG for no fucks given. It's just free for all, man.
It's free for all, and honestly, it's a good way to connect with fans through all media and social media.
And I might even take those first two episodes, the casual conversations, and put them on the NFG feed too, just so you guys can go back and listen to those too if you follow that stream.
What's up?
Because there's some great stories on there and stuff, man. And no one can miss out on anything.
Trust me, when we get to episode 100, you're going to be retelling so many things.
Yeah, when you get to like episode 20, you'll be retelling things. But then at that point, it's okay because like people might not go all the way back. But
what's that?
What's you, man? What's going on? I saw you got to go to the beach and stuff. You're back outside of it.
Yeah, it's you know what's crazy, man. So I live like right by the beach.
Yeah,
and where I am on my side of town in LA. The cops are really chill.
Yeah.
And I'm always cool. And it's like, we're a very bohemian atmosphere on this side of town. You know what I'm saying? On the west side.
Yeah.
So rather than complaining about not being able to go to the beach, I just take my family to the beach and just do our own thing. I don't need to make an announcement on social media that I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach. I don't give a fuck.
I live near the beach and stuff too. I just want to I just wanted to point it out because it's like, I think you can do things. It's not that you can't do things as long as you stay distant from other people and you keep that, social. You're allowed to go with your family and go hang out and go outside. I think people are getting the wrong perception. Like you just
I think the thing about it is that I've lived in America as a black man long enough to know that freedom isn't free. And that what you guys consider, what they consider freedom, isn't really freedom. Freedom doesn't mean you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Because that's not the case. Because, you can't cross the street in any way you want. You got to cross between these lines, apparently. You know what I'm saying? You can't drive at whatever speed you want. You can't walk into a building and yell fire. And, everybody says, oh, that's cool. You have to be mindful of those around you.
Yeah,
and that's what freedom is. Freedom is conducting yourself in a manner in where you're mindful, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. When you drive safe, you're not driving safe for you. You're driving safe for the guy next to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think that in this atmosphere of politics, people are starting to understand. People who didn't understand what freedom was are starting to realize that you follow a set of rules because there's punishment if you don't.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
don't think- I just think a lot of it, and you're right. I think a lot of it is about being mindful, because like
being mindful. Yeah.
At the end of the day, outside of your walls, outside your home, like you're part of a community.
Yeah.
And keep the community in order. There needs to be rules and laws. Otherwise, real freedom would be like I'm walking to the grocery store and I'm taking my jug of milk and I'm leaving because I'm free.
Free. Like in a real society, you like that in a real society where we didn't have rules and regulations to keep things orderly. I would dominate.
Yeah.
You know, no, sure. I'm I'm a naturally born dominator. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'6". I'm without any steroids. I'm big and I'm strong.
On that note,
I can fuck people up. It's like that's not equal.
Well, that's when it really becomes survival of the fittest, you know?
Exactly. And you don't want that. I don't want that. In all honesty, I don't want to fight every day. I don't want to fucking be out there swinging and punching every day for a piece of bread. All right. I like the fact that I can just earn an income, pay for it, and go about my business. I remember when I was younger, I put a post up the other day about, you know, when I was younger, I was just fighting to eat.
Yeah.
And now, and the only thing that changes between then and now is the why I'm fighting and the for.
Yeah.
You know, before I didn't think I was gonna make it past 21. Like I was like everybody's like, oh, you did so much before you were even 25. Yeah, because I felt like every year past 21 was luck. Because like in my area, like where I grew up, I knew guys who died when they were 13, 14, 15 years old in gunfights and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, in my mindset, I was like, I'm going to die young, so I'm going to do as much as I can before I die at 25 or 21. And then for me to even look back, I'm like, man, why did I do so much? Oh, yeah. I never felt like I had more time. I never thought I'd be 30 years old. I never thought I'd be 40 years old coming up on. You know what I'm saying? So I just took the time that I had and I crammed as much adventure into it, thinking, okay, I'm gonna die from a stray bullet sometime soon. And that's why I have this mindset of just always living for now and just doing as much as I can. You know what I mean?
I read it later, I'd be like, why didn't I not do that? Or I think you got to try to know. But I want to talk about you being a big guy for a second, and you knowing that you're a big guy and why you would survive in that situation. Because off the air, I started the story, but I want to finish the story. So for those that don't know, I'm still doing the casual conversations with the classic. The shows are still coming. We're still rolling. I got a couple of people lined up this weekend, like Emilio Sparks and Scotty Mack, and I'm about to reach out to some other people. And that's how this all started. It was a casual.
Yeah, I remember.
So I had one last week with Fred Rosser, aka Darren Young from the Primetime Players. It was a great conversation. Darren, and he knows that we do this, and he was like, oh, I got a Shad story. And I was like, right before we're about to get off, he's like, I got a Shad story for you. He's like, did you know? He's like, when I first came in there, and it was like my tryout or I was training. Like, he's like, that's when I met Shad, and he's like, he's like, Shad just came up to me, and he's like, you just gotta like hit a motherfucker, and then look at Arn Anderson with the mean face, and hit a motherfucker, and then look at Arn Anderson with a mean face. And he's like, I tried that and it just didn't work for me. And I'm like, I think what happened is I think that Shad forgets that he's like a big, scary, intimidating guy. And not every other wrestler is a big, scary, intimidating guy.
No, so it's crazy. So that came from Dr. Death.
Yeah.
Williams. And I remember like my first few matches going on the road. And they were like, okay, hey, we're gonna put you in a match with Val Venus, we're gonna put you in a match with these guys. And so I was like, all right, cool, no problem. And so before I go on the road, I'm like, Dr. Death was like training in OVW, and he was like, I was like, hey Doc, so they're gonna put me on the road. I'm gonna be going on the road with the guys on Raw or something like that. And he's like, oh, okay, kid, I'm gonna tell you what to do. You gotta get in the ring during the day. You're gonna see Arn, you're gonna see Dean, you're gonna see all the boys around the ring. You get in there. And you fucking hit a motherfucker as hard as you can, and you look at Vince and you go, ah. And I was like, okay. He's like, and then you're gonna fucking take him, run him to the turnbuckle, power slam him, look at JR, and go, ah. And I was like, okay. And then I legitimately remember going to TV, being there. Snitsky was on the road. A couple of guys from OVW, we were all on the road already. And they were already on the road before me.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, stay around the ring, stay stretching, stay working out. And so I stayed around the ring, I'm working out and stretching. And they gave me a local at first. And the guy gets in there and he's like 6'4", I'm 6'5", 6'6", both big guys. We lock up and he starts pushing back hard. And I'm like, don't give him an inch. And I fucking just run him in the corner hard. And I shove him down hard. And so then like we back out. He's kind of like taken back, like, okay, we're not going to, okay. So like we lock up again. I take the head and I start leading the match. And whoever starts leading the match is the heel, right? And usually the heel is the guy with the most experience. The guy that I was in the ring with, he actually had more experience than I did and was in the business longer than me.
Yeah.
But Dr. Death told me, don't give a fuck. You take it. You take it and you show them you're the, like Dr. Death told me that, and so did Rocky Johnson. They both said, when you get in there, if you're not with somebody who's on a contract as one of the boys, you eat them alive. That's your job. You show them why you're supposed to be there. And so I just took it and I just started working. And so the guy just instantly in his head, he was like, okay, I'm going to pepper him and lay it in there. And so I have him in the headlock and he has to move. He starts laying it in hard. And I just fucking, like, he laid it in there one time too hard and I just let go and I just forearmed him as hard as I could. And he dropped. And then as soon as I went hard and he went boom. And I went, oh shit. Then I looked at Arn and I went, ah. And Arn was like, that's right, Beast. Get the ball.
That sounds like you. I want to give a shout out to Tones Daydreaming again. He was referring back to how you were talking about, never living in the present. And now he's like, I agree about reaching 21 in Brooklyn. Anything after that was luck.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Thank you for joining our YouTube live. Guys, if you are listening to this, or if you can hear this on Chad's live stream, make sure you join us on YouTube so you can ask questions on there too. But if you're asking questions in the live stream, he'll check them out when he can. I want to bring up something else that I sent you a little bit earlier this week. I know that you commented on the past and it got a little bit of a buzz on this whole ACH situation.
On the who?
ACH and the whole T-shirt situation that got him fired.
Yeah, so all right. I say from there.
Tell me what happened before, because I know, go ahead.
So I had a couple people asking about ACH, and I kind of stay away from dirt sheets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm cool. A lot of the guys who write dirt sheets, Meltzer, Ryan, all those guys are great guys. But I just personally can't take in too much wrestling news and political news, because they're the same exact thing. They're full of shit sometimes. I just on how I meet them. And what the ACH situation is, I met ACH a while back ago. And then last year's WrestleMania, at the after party for WrestleMania for WWE, me and Jay got invited to go to WWE after party, with all the boys. Most people don't know this, but we still have a really great relationship with The Office. So it's not a weird thing.
Listen to our previous episodes, you'll know that.
Yeah. I think people think that once you leave WWE, they kind of like, it's like, ooh, no, it's not that. We literally get phone calls and invited to things all the time. So we go to the party and I see ACH and Mark Henry's talking to him. And if you're African American or from any kind of from African descent and you're in the company, you already know that when you're getting to talk from Mark Henry, it's a generational talk that is passed down. Mark gave it to me, Booker T gave it to me, DJ gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? And Rocky Johnson gave it to me.
And I don't want to cut you off, but have you watched the Nation of Domination Table for Three on the network before?
I have not. No, I have not.
There's a point where it's Charles, Godfather, Mark Henry, and one more, D'Lo. It was those three.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how Ron Simmons would tell them that there's a specific wrestler, forget his name. He was an African American, so he wrestled a lot in England. He's from the old school, he was from the 70s and 80s. And if he was backstage, they said, Ron Simmons, aka Farouk, would tell them, "Hey, go sit with him and talk to him."
Yeah.
Because then Marquez would go sit and talk to him, and he'd appreciate that they came up to him. And then he'd tell them the stories of like the struggles he went through as an African American wrestler back in the 70s. That opened the eyes of guys like Mark Henry and stuff to appreciate what they really had currently. Anyways, go on.
No, and then that's the thing. I've done it with Ron Simmons, Tony Atlas, and you hear Tony tell stories about guys being hung. Like Tony actually witnessed a man hung up, strung up, lynched in his hometown at an early age, and his Cadillac set on fire and his body roasting over it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So when we saw ACH talking to Mark, I knew what was going on already. I knew Mark was giving him the guidelines and letting him know this is what it means to be a black wrestler. This is what it means to be in a company. And me and Jay, we hung around, mingled with everybody. And then like later on, somebody had the idea for all the black wrestlers, you know what I'm saying, to take a photo with Kofi. And we were like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So ACH
this is right after Kofi won the WWE Championship. So
yeah, Kofi just won the title that night.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was Kofi Mania. So we all got together and we all took this photo. And after the photo, ACH actually started talking to me. And we started talking. We talked for a good minute. And we vowed him a lot of things. I love anime. I'm a huge anime fan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ninja Scroll was my first anime I ever watched when I was a kid, and I watched it in all subtitles. And yeah. I probably learned most of my Japanese from Ninja Scroll.
Anime fan, but I did have a friend that was really big in it, and then I watched Naruto for a while with subtitles.
Yeah,
and obviously, like I grew up in the era of Pokemon and Digimon and stuff.
Pretty sure you call it Naruto.
American Naruto with subtitles.
Exactly, Naruto. Naruto. No,
yeah.
Naruto. No, so I took him for what it was, and I remember. Some time went by, didn't really hear that much about things from him, and then saw a couple of his matches, and then I got a hit up from a couple of guys that were like, "Hey man, who's this kid ACH?" And I was like, "Oh, I met him at Mania. Seems like a cool kid." And the old school brothers were like, "Yo, he's stealing my moves." Okay. What do you mean stealing moves? And it was like he's stealing our moves. He's doing them during his match, and I watch his match, and I'm like, oh, he's doing MVP's balling. He's doing Shelton Benjamin's thing. He's doing the crime time thing. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I think I get what this guy's doing. I'm like, he's not stealing your guys' moves. He's not stealing our moves. It's part of his gimmick, and his gimmick is that he does everybody's signature move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's just a cool thing. You know what I'm saying? So
it was in a tribute way, like he's paying.
It was a tribute way. Yeah. So I even said, hey, maybe we can talk to him and go to him. And by the way, and some of the guys did, and they were like, yeah, okay, seems cool, but there's something off there. And we just left it at that, all of us together. You know what I'm saying? And so some more time went by, nothing really heard, and then we saw the thing with the T-shirt thing. Now, being part of the company, I know how the systems run. I know how the organizations run. I know how they go through when we got crime time shirts that were just horrendous. All right. Like the ones we agreed upon were the best ones we agreed upon. But we got a shirt that was like a Timberland boot and then Brooklyn in the background. You know what I'm saying? We got some really crappy stuff. But the way that was presented to us was, these are your options. And then we would say, okay, what do you guys think? And they would say, well, we like this. And then we'd say, from what they liked, we'd give them the pros and then the obvious cons to what they like. So when his story came out, I kind of felt like the way he said it was accurate, to where he said, okay, I'm trying to understand what you guys want from me, but these are the cons. So I'm trying to play in the system, but I don't like this. And this is why. And if somebody was pressuring him to agree to it, I understand that. Because if you're not, I'm an aggressive guy. Not everybody's going to be Shad Gaspard and be aggressive 24/7.
Yeah.
So if you're not aggressive in the system, they'll try to slide things by you. And they'll try to push it forward to make themselves look good or whatever. Once that settled down and we all sided with him and we all said, okay, man, we understand this is an injustice and we should really fix it, right? Then it started going a little downhill. And
I just want to put this up here for a second for anyone that watches. This was the shirt.
Yeah.
And that's ACH. If you don't know who ACH is, he's actually really talented. He's a super good. He's a
Very talented, amazingly talented. I would never say
He's been killing it. Seen him live a bunch of times. But that was a shirt that was in question to be kind of off color with what the design was.
And it looks racist.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? As somebody who studies, Black history to a T, that looks racist to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, from Paul's point of view, which you guys gotta understand, Hunter's not a racist. I'll say that straight up. Hunter's not a racist.
Yeah.
Hunter's a nerd. Hunter's corny. I'll say that all day long. He's a nerd. He's corny. He doesn't get all the pop culture references. He's like, don't get it.
Yeah.
But he's not a racist. He sees one thing. But once you explain it to him, he goes, all right, cool, man. I understand. He's not going to look at you and go, fuck you. We're going to do it anyway. He's going to say, no. I get it. I understand what's going on here. I need to pull back. This is out of my realm of expertise. So I'm going to pull back and we're going to go back to the drawing board. Okay. Once we got from the point of, okay, it was a mistake and it's being corrected and you're going to find justice, that's great. Then things started coming up when he started complaining and bitching and moaning about things that didn't really seem on the up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, the one thing that stood out to me, and I'll say because I'm not like in the bubble, I'm not.
Yeah.
But like the Jay Lethal thing really stood out to me because I was kind of
exactly. Starting with that. So going to that, Jay Lethal's a brother of mine.
Yeah.
I knew Jay Lethal from not a fucking hole in the sand. And when I met Jay Lethal, he literally embraced me, pulled me in. I'm not an indie guy.
Yeah.
I'm a guy they sought after. I'm a fighter they sought after, and they say, we want you to join this business. So he understood that and said, hey, man, I don't care how you got into wrestling. You're here. You're one of us. Go from there. Jay Lethal has a very strict mindset. I use the word nigga.
Yeah.
In a lot of my casual conversation. Some guys don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Some guys don't care. Guys like Jay Lethal and Mark Henry who do not appreciate it, I consciously make a mindset to not use that word around them.
Yeah.
Because they do not like it. Understand? I consciously do that. Booker T doesn't like it. I consciously make a mindset. You know what I'm saying? Other guys are cool with it. And that's their MO. But Jay Lethal is one of the guys I know is not cool with it. And when the screen came through and he starts downing, you understand? As brothers, we uplift each other. We don't down each other. That's not our MO. So once he started downing Jay Lethal, something was up. We all knew something was up. And then we immediately started talking to each other. And then we all went to Jay Lethal and said, hey, what's going on? What's the story? And Jay said, he told the exact story and how it happened, you know? And he's like, this dude just went off. And he's like, hey, man, when I saw you guys supporting the guy, I didn't stop it because I felt like it was a just cause. We all come together. We go, hey, we're behind this. We're behind this. Yes, let's go. And as a front, we stand with each other in unity because that's what brothers do. So we all supported him. When he started coming out against Jay Lethal and started talking trash like this stuff, we're like, what's going on? We all just came out in unity to support you. And here you are bringing down another brother on a misunderstanding that it's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that was the first straw. Then when he started systematically going to each individual and then started bringing down people that started support, it's like, all right, I'm dyslexic. I'm also aggressive. I have an anger problem. I know I do, but I don't blame society for my anger problem.
Yeah.
If I blame society, then I have no control over it, of my aggression. Many people don't know this. I was in special education for the 2nd until the 4th grade. Okay? I was in special education because of my anger and my aggression. They didn't trust me around normal students because I would get so angry and so aggressive, I just wanted to fight because I felt attacked all the time. But I learned through myself that I can control my own anger. And that's a mental issue that I had to overcome. So when you tell me somebody has mental issues, feel sorry for them, I say, fuck you, because I know a whole entire locker room of guys who have mental issues that found career path and journeys and are doing better for it. So when he started attacking everybody, that's when I said, all right, man, it's enough's enough. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling bad for yourself. Stop blaming everybody for yourself. If you can't pull yourself up on your own shit, and you can't, if you blame everybody else for your problems, and then you have no control over it. You know what I'm saying? And I basically was saying it in a positive but aggressive way. Tough love. He took it at what it was, and he made the post about me with call me Uncle Tom. And I said, all right.
The reason we're talking about it, and I was just looking it over right now, is because he did just come out and apologize. So that's why I'm bringing it up again, and why we're discussing it for anyone wondering. Why we're discussing ACH in May of 2020. That's why he came out and apologized. He
came out and apologized and
took accountability for his actions. He talked about mental health and kind of being in a sad place. He discussed that maybe he should have just deleted his Twitter and went a different route. I just wanted to bring it up with you because I know you did have an opinion. You were.
But we live in a huggy society right now.
Yeah, and the dirt sheets did come through when you voiced your opinion back then. I do recall, so I want to pick your brain on it.
Yeah, we live in a society where we hug people for not. We try to hug away reality.
Yeah,
the reality is nobody cares. At the end of the day, you gotta get your shit together.
Yeah.
If you don't get your shit together, guess what? Don't nobody give a fuck.
Yeah.
Guys, ain't nobody care when I was sitting in my car broke. Ain't nobody care when I lost my job. Ain't nobody care when I had bills to pay, had taxes. I owed the U.S. government over $80,000 in taxes. Ain't nobody care about that when I haven't paid it.
Yeah, and the thing is, and exactly what he said. He's like, the thing is, he was going through some stuff, and he put it out on social media. And the thing is, when you're going through some stuff and you're a public figure and you have that sort of reach, or just genuinely if you're not a public figure, just don't put it on social media. Just don't, Not the place to air your grievances and pity party for you. I'm not saying he had a pity party for himself, but
he had a pity party for himself.
I don't want to say that.
I'll say it. He had a pity party for himself, and in all honesty, if he understands that now, finding his way to being better, and understanding that having people pity you is not the way to go. More power to you.
Yeah, he took accountability for it. That was his fault.
I'm the type of person that's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be better for yourself, I wish you nothing but the best.
But
trust me, you're gonna see me. I'm not gonna fuck with So
that's what we're talking about. And I just want to get your back on your thoughts on it. So
no. I see a couple people asking why we're talking about it, and some people agree with it, some people don't. A couple people, they feel you got to coddle those who go through things. I'm like, nah, I don't coddle. My son has never had me cry over him.
Yeah.
My son is never I train my son in Muay Thai kickboxing. Okay. If anybody knows how I train, is anybody who's trained with me? I'm not soft.
Yeah.
JPG all the time tells me, pull back. I'm like, no, we're going to go harder. That's just the way I am. And I don't cry for myself. I sometimes have to question my parenting all the time, but then I'll see the results and it's like, he'll be training. He doesn't stop.
Yeah.
He knows there's nothing he can't do if he believes in himself.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm the way I am. That's
good. And you want, sometimes I just from experience of people I've close to, and I think everybody does go through some stuff. Every family, every person goes through things. But I do believe that the hardships you go through, even though they might be so crappy that in the time you're going through it.
Yeah.
But when you look back at it and you look at the tough love of the things that deal with, they actually do make you a better and stronger person and tougher when stuff does hit you. Like I deal with so much at home, not to get personal, that like when things hit me on my professional life, like I don't get as affected as I think someone that was coddled at home, So I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
make it professional, make it personal because in all honesty, people think life is easy.
Yeah.
Man, this shit is hard.
Yeah.
People, dude, I'm so lucky and blessed.
Yeah.
Things that I have. That's why I just live my life.
Yeah, well, you have to know those things you should be grateful and blessed for. You gotta really put a spotlight on that rather than the negative stuff, because actually you have to put the spotlight on the negative stuff because you need to know what's negative to know what's positive and then be like, I'm happy that this is like that. even though I had to go through all of this and dealt with all of this. Like, at least I have this. At least, and then just even like the bare minimum, the basics. Like, dude, I can talk. I can see. I'm a little blind. I have glasses, but I can see.
I can walk.
I have both arms. I got 10 fingers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just the basics. I've seen guys who work on mills and stuff and lost their fingers. I've seen guys who've had amputated legs, and it's not that that's bad, but it's like I should be grateful that I don't. You know, like.
Well, you know what? I'll tell this story.
Yeah.
And I was probably about 14 years old.
Yeah.
And me and my boys were acting a fool in Ocean Avenue. Like, I'm from Ocean Avenue, between J&K, Brooklyn, New York. All right. Me and my boys were acting a fool, and we got picked up. We got rounded up. My boys got in their squad cars. We got in our squad car, and I'm in a cop that had me in the car, and I'm handcuffed in the car, and I'm just running my mouth like a little shit. And I'm just
drum, man.
And I watch, and I'm watching where we're going, and we're going down Avenue J, and we go past the police station.
Yeah.
And I go, the fuck? I'm like, where you taking me now? You taking me somewhere else? Cop didn't say 2 words. Then we're going up Flatbush, we're going up Nostrand, and I'm like, all right, I have no idea where we're going. And then we're at Kings County Hospital. I was born at Kings County Hospital. You know, Kings County Hospital is where we all go. And so we walk into Kings County Hospital, and we're walking through, and now I'm in a part of the hospital I've never been before. And we walk past these signs. They say contamination, you know, you've got to be clean. Officer walks me in, he talks to some nurses. You know, I sit down in a chair, and they walk me through, and he walks me into this room, and it's a big room with a bunch of beds. And inside this room is all these kids, and all these kids are burn ward kids, and they're kids who survived.
Yeah.
With more than 70% of their body burnt, so they can't be in a regular part of the hospital. And the officer went in there, and he's saying hi to everybody, and he had me stand by the door, and the stench and the smell was just unbearable.
Yeah.
It hurt my eyes. And I watched the little girls and little boys, black, white, Christian, Jewish, whatever, just sit there and be happy to see this cop. You know what I'm saying? And I remember we got up, we walked out, and he put me back in the car. No words to me at all throughout this whole thing. And he said, do you have anything to complain about now? And I was like, no, sir. He was like, you and your friends are stupid. All your friends are stupid. Be the better one out of your friends.
Yeah.
And I went and I did 3 months in juvenile hall after that.
Yeah.
And while I was in juvenile, I remember just sitting there and I couldn't get that smell out of my nose. But I also couldn't get the look of those kids who were burned on the majority of their body, and they're happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who the fuck am I to be mad about life?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have an X. Oh, I don't got a Nintendo. Oh, I ain't got an Xbox. I ain't got this. But shut the fuck up.
I'm broke for a little bit. Like, I can't make it right, you know?
I ain't got a shirt. Yo, honest to God, I live my life to the fullest because I know there are others that can't. But I also live my life to the fullest so that others can know that they can.
100%. That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah. Because people always look at me and they're like, I remember they're like, oh man, you must have had all the support. Nah, yo, people, I'm here because I had a supportive family and friends who were like, oh yeah, Chad, you're gonna do it. Yeah. But I had people in my life who were like, you ain't gonna make it.
100%. People that like you were the closest to if you were younger and stuff, they're like, he's never gonna make it there. Like, and then there's always that false image. I think it happens with me too. And I'm just like an influencer on social media, but there's a false image that like, oh, like he's got it made. Like, I'm like, I still get nervous DMing you wrestlers, and I probably should like, hey, do you want to do a show with me? Like, it's not that easy. It's just that I take that risk. I put myself out of my comments. I'm like, hey, what's up? You want to maybe come to my show? Like, it's not like there is still always a struggle. You just got to take those opportunities. You got to live your life to fullest and you got to take those risks and realize that you'll win some, you'll lose some, you'll get a bunch of no's, you'll get knocked down. But unless you do it and try, you'll never know, man. Just be grateful for the life that you were given and the time that you have, because even personally, I know you probably relate to this. I had friends that decided to go a different way in life. When I went to school after high school and tried to do the university thing, they went the other way, and they're not alive. And that's real. That's a true story. Like, they're real, and they died. And I don't think about it. I didn't think about it at the time. But now I'm 28, and I'm like, yo, my buddy died when he was like 24. That's so young. Like, I felt like I did so much in the last 3 years, and but I wasn't doing it at 24. Like he missed out on so much because he decided to go that way, or there's something in him that felt like he wasn't worth doing anything else but that for some reason. And
Tupac and Biggie died before they were 35. Jay-Z became a billionaire. When? Come on. It's when you put things in perspective, you start thinking about how rare and precious life is.
Yeah.
It's a fucking mind fuck.
And that things take time. Because sometimes I'll get very anxious and like depressed, like, oh, like I'm a hamster on a wheel and I'm running this wheel and I'm not getting nowhere. But then I look at people that have succeeded, and then I look at how old they are, and I'm like, oh, I got time. They didn't get that opportunity until they were like 32. I'm still 28. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank.
My boy Chris is just telling me, he's like, yo, get back to some more wrestling questions.
Money in the Bank is this Sunday, right?
Money in the Bank.
And this is one of the most unusual Money in the Banks of all time, because it is dubbed as climbing the corporate ladder, because they're doing it at the WWHQ, the headquarters, and they're starting from the ground floor. The men's and the women's Money in the Bank are happening at the same time, and they're wrestling to the roof, and they have a ring and set up there with ladders and all that stuff to finish it up on the roof. So one, I want to know your opinion on that whole concept, and two, I just want to know if you have any WWE headquarters stories about you going there.
I got tons of WWE headquarters. No.
The concept first. How do you think about the concept?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Because my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Anything, and it's just because because like once you know Vince, it's awesome. There's a wrestling documentary, and they were like, Vince goes, he was like, what do we do here?
We make movies.
We make movies.
Yeah.
He goes, we make movies. I was like, because I used to tease him about that all the time. They're like, hey, old man, what do we do here? We make movies. He's like, shut the fuck up. He hates like anything like you do like that to him, but he loves it also. I think the concept is really cool because for the first time in a long time, WWE is actually back to making movies again.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've done this. You know what I'm saying? The company's been doing it a while. Umaga versus Jeff Hardy was actually a movie kind of style match. It's just for that premise. It's always been a movie. But once it gets backstage, it goes up another level. Now you are forced to maybe go somewhere else because of the quarantine and everything that's going on. Yeah. So the opportunity is endless.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. The bad thing, which I hate to give him credit for this, the bad thing is what levels do you not go to? And Jim Cornette has a famous thing he says, okay, well, you pull out a pencil, they pull out a knife. They pull out a gun, you pull out a rocket launcher, they pull out a battleship. When is this going to end?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it gets like that, then it's going to be no good. But if it gets to the core of telling a story, man, there's just so much endless possibilities if they just stick to a really good story and just tell that story. Because that's why we watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Like we watch wrestling because it's real or fake. We watch wrestling because we want to be told a really interesting story that we can't see nowhere else. It's going to make us feel an emotion that we can't feel nowhere else.
No, I agree.
When you watch the Avengers movie, you kind of know what's going to happen. And when it doesn't go that way, you get more excited.
Yeah.
The reason why I watch
they did a really good job this past WrestleMania showcasing that they're taking advantage of this quarantine and upping up the creative standpoint, because that Firefly Funhouse, if you're a wrestling fan, you did all the references, was a blast. And then the Boneyard match, even if you weren't a wrestling fan, the Boneyard match was good for everybody. It was a cool story, cool concept, right? And that shows that they're going to get super creative with it. So that's why I want to get your opinion on it, because a lot of people are it's a polarizing decision. A lot of people aren't a fan of this whole headquarters thing. A lot of people are. I'm personally excited because I'm like, let's see what they do with it. Like, it could be really bad. It really could be really bad, but it could be really good.
It's all in the storytelling.
Yeah.
Because the main reason we don't watch wrestling because of the flips, because of the moves, because you can see that anywhere.
Yeah.
You watch WWE wrestling because you know they're guaranteed to tell the best story.
Yeah.
That's why you want to watch. So if they tell the best story possible, that gets you questioning wondering, on the edge of your seat, seeing who's gonna come around the corner. That's awesome. If they tell an angle story where it's like, okay, we're gonna have an angle here and cut, then nobody wants to watch an angle story. They want to watch the best drama where it looks like someone's gonna get it and they get stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the best kind of story they can tell. So,
and I don't know if they'll ever do this again, the headquarters Money in the Bank. I think obviously this is just an opportunity to jump on because of the whole coronavirus pandemic. But obviously if it's successful, they might do it again. But I'm like, but if it is a one-off, like they could do something really big that they'll never have to do again, because it's not like one of those situations where like you have a Hell in a Cell and then Taker throws Mankind off of it, and now every Hell in a Cell after, you're trying to figure out how we're going to get something bigger than that, because you really can't. Everyone's expecting someone to get thrown off the top of the cell, and you can't do that every single time.
You can't do that every single time.
This is a situation where it's like they might only do this once, so if you want to throw someone off the roof, this is the opportunity.
What is it? Okay, so I don't watch the product that much to know what's going on with the tag team division, because I got a couple questions about tag team.
I do want to talk about the tag team division, but I do want to know before we go to the tag team division, because that was my next thing I want to talk about, because I want to go from the revival leaving the WWE and what they said on Jericho's podcast about the tag division. But before you get there, do you have any headquarters stories? What was your first experience going to the WWE headquarters?
My first experience going to headquarters was they actually sent us up there, me and Jay. Like I remember on my initial introduction to the company.
Yeah,
they were going to send me to the headquarters. Me and my dad, because I was living in New York, and they were like, "No, come to MSG," and that's when I met DJ Mysterio and everybody else like that. But I remember they sent us to headquarters to show us everything. Mm-hmm. And prior to going to headquarters, Paul Heyman told the story about Beth Phoenix, and she sent her audition tape to get into WWE to a couple of people.
Yeah,
Beth kind of got known around the company. Maybe 5 or 10 people. So prior to us going up there, I was on the road in my singles push. And, I was still trying to figure out how to do my single stuff. And I sent, I think 50 care packages, to WWE headquarters. Inside each care package that was wrapped in real nice laced Christmas wrappings, right?
Yeah.
Was a booklet that was about this big, and it had my photo on it, and it had the HNIC, Shad Gaspard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it had a whole thing about me, about my character, the origin, and like that, photos and all that kind of stuff. And inside of it, there was also a DVD, that's how long ago, of it. And I sent this, I went to WWE Corporate, the website.
Yeah,
I found all the executives in the company, even the fucking the door guys, and everybody. And I sent 50 care packages out to everybody at WWE headquarters.
That's the hustle people don't ever hear, because how did you get it in there? How did you have to try that? A lot of the stories are similar. Of I kept calling them, I kept leaving messages, I kept sending packages, and people that stresses me out sometimes. I'm like, I feel like when I try to DM people, I'm like, hey, you guys have this, I would love you. I'm like, I feel like I'm being annoying.
Yeah. No, you gotta have fun with it. Yeah, it was crazy. The crazy was that this was 2 years after I did that.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman told me the entire company was pissed because they were they thought it was bonuses from Vince. And it wasn't. It was just for me, and they were like, "Who the fuck is Shad Gaspard?" And it was as soon as everybody came back from the whole Christmas break, they're like, "Vince, who the fuck is Shad Gaspard? Who's Shad Gaspard?" And Vince is like, "Ha ha ha! I love Shad Gaspard." He's like, "Yeah, that's one of the reasons I got over with him."
Yeah,
so we did our tour, and we're doing our tour, and people are like, and they're like, "Oh hey, and you guys know Shad from Prime Time?" Like, "Oh yeah, what's up, motherfucker?" So let's get a bonus.
That's so
your video of your DVD and your goddamn booklet. Fuck Shad Gaspard.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it was an interesting tour. But the majority of everybody was kind of laughing about it, because they were like, "We're glad you made it to TV." Because if you didn't, you'd be the running joke. For that stunt. And I was like,
I think this is cool. We've always gotten glimpses of the headquarters. Obviously, they it was in the documentary, like Beyond the Mat and stuff like that. And we've had Brock Lesnar invade Triple H's office, or we've had Stone Cold be the CEO for a day, and that was all over Raw. But I think this Money in the Bank would be cool because we get to see a lot of the inside. Tag team wrestling. I want to talk about tag team wrestling.
Yeah, we're cool with that. It's really amazing to me how underappreciated people are, because they're actually like super amazing. Like the things they do for us that we have no idea. Like they got all my visa stuff taken care of for me, and like so much things that I didn't. It's amazing. So like it's interesting, but I wish they would do a behind the scenes on the actual corporate people who work in the office, because they're like some of the most amazing people in the world.
Yeah, I remember it was Warrior when he was in the Hall of Fame, and he was just like, it's other people that need to be once a year inducted in the Hall of Fame, like the camera people, the videographers, the people that are on the road, people at the offices, the people that are dealing with everything. He's like, those are the people that need the spotlight on him. Like,
Sue Crawl, a lot of people, like Sue. I remember Sue. She got me a flight change, everything. Like when one of my boys died, and she got like, I literally was on the phone blubbering, crying. Yeah. And she goes, hang up the phone, I got it. And like I remember just sitting there like, hello. She's like, your flight leaves tomorrow. You got a flight later. I was like, thank you, Sue. I appreciate it. And she's like, amazing. It's like they're the best. Yeah.
And it's also really cool because I know it's been kind of postponed or like put on hold, obviously, because once again the pandemic. Yeah. But they're moving offices, right? Like they're actually not going to be there much longer. So like it's cool that they're doing this one-off like Money in the Bank at the headquarters. If you look at it from that perspective before they move officially.
The thing I was told was we're eternal, because all WWE's footage goes into a special vault with the most precious things in the world, like. And I'm like, and they were like, hey, for the rest of your life, you like, if the world ends tomorrow and aliens find what's left of human existence, this stuff will last for an eternity. And I'm like, wow. And
that's when you ever see someone who's like a part of our wrestling community and they show up on the network for God knows what reason. I'm like, dude, you're in there now. That's it.
Yeah. I
was like, really lucky one time that on the episode of WWE Now, when they were doing a thing on The Rock, like a piece on The Rock being on the magazine, they used my Instagram page to show pictures of his dad and stuff. And it was a wrestling classic. And I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm in there. It's over.
Immortality, nailed it.
And it's not even like they left my name, the username, and everything on there. Like they got the footage. I'm in there.
Nailed it.
But tag team wrestling. So the Revival just left the WWE. The usual.
Yeah.
The usual thing that it is now is you leave
Jericho.
Jericho, yeah. And you air your grievances on Talk is Jericho.
Yeah.
And their biggest thing, and honestly, like there's people that are still hating on them, and I'm like, listen, they're not actually complaining about not getting time and stuff. What they said was that usually comedy acts do get more time than the actual tag teams that are trying to be wrestlers. Their biggest complaint wasn't about money. It wasn't about not being happy there. It was not actually none of that. They were cool with being there. They were grateful for all the opportunities they had. But the core of their problem was that they were two really big wrestling fans. Like they love professional wrestling and they love tag team wrestling. And the problem with the WWE that they got the most is that they just didn't feel like there was enough appreciation for tag team wrestling there. It was nothing to do with money. It was nothing to do with Vince being a bad person. It was nothing to really do even with creative. It was just creative in a big picture for just tag team wrestling generally. Yeah. Is there like a less importance back there with tag team wrestling even when you were there?
It's always going to be less importance, but I remember when we were wrestling Harry and TJ, and me and Jay, we never had the WWE tag team titles. And the reason we were told we don't have tag team titles is because they don't need to get us over. We're already over. And I remember sitting in Vince's office, and he was like, "We're not going to put the belts on you guys because you guys are already over." And we were like, "So if we reduce Domino," he goes, "They need the belts." Yeah. Like, well, man, we want to at least be able to say we're the champions one time. And he was like, Deuce and Domino need the titles. Crime Time does not. You guys will be on TV. Don't worry about it. And I remember I got really hot. I was like, well, then why are they making more money? He goes, money's the problem? Fine. Your contract's going to get upgraded. And we sat back and we looked at each other and we were like, okay. And they upgraded our contracts. Like, not by like a little bit, by a lot.
Yeah.
And
And to the point, like it already seemed like he knew your guys' value was worth more. It was just
yeah,
it just took you saying then upgrade our contracts to him to be like, okay, yeah.
yeah. And so we looked at it and like I remember we had a match with Harry and TJ, and it was a good match. And we got our checks. And I remember just out of curiosity, I was like, "Hey, would you guys get paid for that match we did in Mexico?" And Harry started telling me the numbers, and I was like, "Yo, man, you guys better go ask for more money. We got way more than you guys, and we're in the same match." And I remember TJ and Harry were like, "No, we don't want to rock the boat." And I remember that was our difference in attitudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were more just like, "Hey, we're going to work within the system," and I understand that, and that's their way of thinking. And like TJ's been in the company for longer than most people can even say they've been in the company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Harry has a long career in the company and out of the company.
He's killing it still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, I was like, yo, I need to get my money now because I don't trust you.
I don't want to just step in. I do think it's interesting because I did talk to Darren, right? I talked to Darren not too long ago, and I was like, oh, that's such a similar balance because I asked him how he felt when he had to go pitch to Vince about the Bob Backlund idea because on that casual conversations, I kind of got into this thing where like, give me your experience with Vince because people always have bad things to say about Vince, but when you actually ask most wrestlers, they'll say some good things. So I just found the similarity that like when it came to you and JTG, there was the one really strong personality that was you, and then there was JTG who probably didn't want to rock the boat as much. Whereas similar, then he's like, oh, it was kind of intimidating because the majority of the time it was just Titus that would just barge through the door. Like, are you gonna be on Raw tonight? And I'm like, oh, so like in my head, I didn't say it on the show, but I'm like, oh, like he was the Shad of the two of you that would have.
This is why me and Titus get along. We're very similar. Like, we know it. We're very similar, and like me and Titus for the longest, me and Titus never got along. Like to this day, we're okay. We're cool. But for the long, we didn't get along because we're very similar. Like a lot of our mutual friends will always say, like, you guys are a lot alike in so many ways. And I respect Titus. I love Titus. I think he's a great guy. And I think his philanthropy will always outshine his wrestling because he wants it to. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to doing things, we're very similar. We just go.
When I heard that story, I thought of you guys because he's like, I know tag teams have to split eventually, but he's like, I was so used to just Titus barging through the door and be like, boss, are we booked for Raw tonight? Yeah, no, just let me know. He's like, but I didn't have that. So when he said that, I'm like, oh, so that's always similar to how you always like, you're gonna go talk to Vince and JTG would be like, I'm like, oh, it's similar. I get it. Yeah.
But I heard some of the podcast. I admired them for seeing what they were going to do.
Yeah.
They were literally going to shit on them before they walked out the door.
Yeah.
They were literally going to shit on them. It was never done to me.
Yeah.
But I watched them do it to so many guys who they were like, hey, you only got a few more months left in your contract. We're going to have you job out to this guy. I remember us working the Highlanders.
Yeah.
We're going over the match and we're like, okay, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, because we're all brothers. And I'm like, you're gonna get this, And then our agent, which was I think it was Fit or somebody, was like, no. Beast, you're gonna do this. Jay, you're gonna do this, and boom, 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 and that's it. And I was like, okay. And then they were like, I think we're getting released. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I got like after seeing the way the match was, I was like, yep. And then we just squashed them, and then they got released. So I think if the Revival had said, yeah, that sounds great, they would have put them in clock radios and the bedazzled.
So interesting though is because if the Revival actually did agree to it, they're like, fine, we'll do this, but we're just letting you know when our contract's over, we're not re-signing. So to the point where they just didn't end up doing anything with them, and then they just released them.
Yeah, because
they agreed to be buried before they were left, and they're just like, we're just letting you know that we're do you think what was behind that? Why would they just be like, actually, you know what? Let's just not do anything with them. Let them just go then.
It's a difference in negotiating.
Yeah,
like we got a script one time, and the script legitimately said, Shad and Jason take a bite out of the chicken and start dancing.
Yeah.
The script said Shad and Jason take a bite out of the chicken and start dancing because they're so happy they're eating chicken. I looked at Jay and I said, we got him. And Jay goes, uh-oh. And so we went straight to Vince's office before they can do an edit, before they saw what was wrong. And I was like, fuck you, we're not doing this shit.
Yeah.
Who the fuck you think? And Vince was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you think we some Uncle Tom motherfucker? And he was like, and he read it and he goes, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You guys have total liberty now. And then we were like, got him. Got him.
But is there any
whoever wrote it?
Yeah.
Whoever wrote it ruined it for every writer. Because after that point, we didn't have to listen to what the writer said. We used to cut promos and be like, as soon as they start saying, well, once you say this, like you want us to eat fried chicken and dance, and they go, yeah. See, it's all how it's like you can either be it's kind of like the ACA situation also. You can either be offended by it or you can understand the game and use it to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I would rather take things like there's a lot of things in our gimmick in the beginning we had to agree to. We had to agree to stealing a TV. We had to agree to dancing down to the ring apron. But then as things progressed, I said, nah, I don't want to do that. Because we had negotiation power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The only time they try to test us really bad, and I'll never live this down. We were in Europe, and I have family in Holland, and I have family all around Europe, and we're in the UK. And at this time, the euro was just being introduced, and the UK was proud of staying on pounds. And I remember one of the writers who's a little upset with me because we just took liberties with our own stuff. He wrote down euros, yeah, in the UK, and passed us the paper and said, "This is our promo." And I looked at the promo and I was like, "What?" He goes, "You're not going to do it? You have a problem doing the promo that I wrote for you?" And I was like, "Fuck, we're in negotiations right now." And I was like, I can't go to Vince right now because I've already gone to Vince for too many things. This will be one more thing I'm complaining about. Then I'll be labeled as the complaining big black guy, the big tough black guy that complains about everything. They'll use it against me in conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's the politics of the back, you know? And so I literally went to all my top guys I trusted, and they were like, don't say nothing. They're testing you. And I went out there, grabbed the mic, and I said, euros, and the crowd booed. And I said, yeah, but I kept on going, euros, yeah, and then the crowd booed, and we walked through that curtain. Vince goes, it's pounds, it's not euros. And I go, sorry. He goes, no, it's a mess up. Just take it away. And I was like, okay, cool. And he goes, good job. Because he knew I had to do it. I didn't run to him like a little girl crying about it. I just did what I needed to do, went on about my business. I took the heat.
It's such a game, man. It's such
a game. It's a game. It's a game. I got to say no to a lot more promos after that. But I had to take that out. And to this day, anytime anybody you do know it's pounds. I'm like, I know it's pounds, bro. I know. I travel.
Do you think there's any weight to them saying, when it comes to tag team wrestling, most of the tag teams, and you guys included, because you guys were more of a charismatic tag team. You guys had charisma. Yeah. One of the charismatic tag teams, or the ones that were comedy acts, like the Lucha House Party was at some point a comedy act. They tend to get more time because of that compared to like the actual when you look at the Revival, they really weren't they did funny stuff, they did, and they showed their charisma when they were told to and written to, but they were more of a shoot wrestling tag team that doesn't get enough love as.
Well, here's the thing. Being a great wrestler means nothing.
Yeah.
In a world where entertainment is the key.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Shawn Michaels is not the best wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the best wrestler, in my opinion. But Shawn Michaels makes you believe.
He's entertaining.
Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho worked a match around an eye.
Yeah.
They worked a match around an eye. There was no holds that were super amazing in that match. They worked in the match and they kept your interest working a match around an eye. That's what makes you entertaining.
What does that mean around an eye?
Watch the match.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. It's a pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
All right. Jericho worked Shawn's eye.
Oh, or the eye, like the actual
arms.
eye. Okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah,
Some
Sean
pyramid or something. Okay, we're trying
yeah,
to, yeah, I remember the angle. But
yeah.
that goes back to what I said a couple of weeks ago to you, like just personal preferences. Like I've always been a storyline character guy, so like we get spoiled with so many good wrestling matches today, but I forget them because unless I care about the storyline and the characters and what this how that match like progresses their story, it's hard for me to remember to want to dive into it deep. You know?
But that's the thing. Good wrestling doesn't sell TV.
Yeah.
If that was the case, everybody would be Arn Anderson. If that was the case, Dean Malenko would be hands down one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Yeah, everybody can wrestle really good. Mike Mondo, who's one of the best wrestlers in developmental system, could chain like nobody's business. Our Broadway match, he would go and keep on going. But Mike Mondo's stratosphere was here because his personality at the time was so below.
Yeah.
And then even when he started adding personality, it was too little too late to match his great wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, you might fall in love with something in the business. It doesn't mean that the rest of the world is going to accept it and take it in. Batista isn't the greatest wrestler, but man, does he make you believe? John Cena makes you believe.
Yeah.
You know?
Batista's the man.
Come on. People are sitting here right now wishing John came back. The same people who booed the guy to leave.
I think the best example, because here's someone who's universally loved, and like Cena is polarizing, Batista is somewhat polarizing, but someone who's universally loved. Even Hogan today is polarizing just because.
Yeah.
But someone that people really love, who realistically, if you go watch his earlier matches or even any of his matches besides his WrestleMania classics, like The Undertaker doesn't do a ton in the ring. Even when he was zombie Undertaker, but he's such an over-the-top character and listens to their crowd and works off of that instead, that he tells a story in the ring every time he's in there, because you'll see it's not you're watching two good wrestlers wrestle, you're watching The Undertaker wrestle, and that's what makes the match so much better.
The crazy shit about this, so I remember Taker sitting me down.
I love Undertaker. That's no disrespect, and everybody should watch his Last Ride documentary. That's
watch that. I remember watching Taker when he came back as a dead man, and I was still going through my thing, developmental. Yeah. And I remember being there, and I remember everybody's around the ring, and Taker's at the top of the ramp, and he walks out, he walks back down behind the curtain. He walks out, turns, he walks out behind the curtain, and I'm watching him for at least an hour while people are working around him, and it took him about an hour to get to the ring.
Yeah.
And it took him about 30 minutes getting into the ring, because every movement he made, he knew what he wanted to do. It was a conscious choice. Yeah. Every movement, every sway, everything, from the hat going down to coming up here to bringing it. He couldn't just take the hat off like that.
Yeah.
He had to duck down slowly, look up, arms come out wide. I saw him go from here to different ways to take off his hat. Everything was so meticulously done, because it makes the audience believe more.
Because without even thinking about it, you notice these things.
Exactly.
There's one thing I'll always remember. Like, there's this one visual image of he comes into the cell and he grabs the door from behind him and he just slams it shut. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's
so cool, right?
But like, that's what we think. But that's because he thought about it. And he knows that the character and the presentation matters just as much as anything else. You know.
At the end of the day, the best wrestlers are like George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre, he's not a striker.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre is not a wrestler. George St. Pierre is not a submission guy.
Yeah.
He's a little bit at everything. He's just enough good at everything that he makes it all look amazing.
Yeah.
He's not great at everything. Shawn Michaels isn't the best technical wrestler. Okay? But he's really good at entertainment. He's really good at selling. Shawn Michaels is so good at selling, he can oversell and make it look bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he's so good at selling that he could either sell and make you look like $1 million or make you look like shit.
And that's the thing about Shawn Michaels, I want to say, is the thing that I loved about Shawn Michaels, yeah, he's a tremendous wrestler. I could watch his matches and never get bored. I say the same thing about Savage, and I say the same thing about Bret. Yeah. But the thing about Savage and Shawn Michaels, it was their characters that made me like them. My favorite Shawn Michaels, and I would jokingly say this, and I'll say it here once and and only once. Shawn Michaels on drugs was my favorite Shawn Michaels because 97, 98.
What I do with Shawn Michaels.
The same thing about Eminem. Like Eminem on drugs is probably my favorite Eminem. And I'm not saying I want them to go back and do bad things, but his attitude, his rawness, his like personality, he was cool and that's why I love Shawn Michaels so much. Yeah. And and it was his presentation, his I don't give a fuck attitude, and all of that made me really like Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart to me, like, yeah, he's a great wrestler, but you gotta understand, being from Canada, Bret Hart was like Canadian cool, man. Like that dude was cool. He'd walk like he had a swagger that he didn't even think. I don't even think he knew he had. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing. I think the Revival, you know, I think they had options.
Yeah,
and you get the option. And I watched it be done with Shelton and Charlie.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, Shelton and Charlie, great wrestlers, as personality. They gave Shelton his mama. They gave Charlie everybody else's gimmick to do. And it brought some personality out of them. At the end of the day, good wrestling was needed. You need to know how to work. In this business, you need to know how to do a little bit of everything. So, honest to God, if Dash just started snuffing people, if you leave it up to them to find your it, they're going to give you some bullshit.
Yeah.
But if you create your it, guy attacks Brett, dashing them, snuffed him. If Dash Wilder just started snuffing people out of nowhere, like you're cutting a promo, you're getting an interview, and it's just like, boom, he just snuffed somebody, people will be like, oh, what the hell? And he goes, yeehaw, and just walks off, and his partner comes up behind and goes, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
He's so fly. It's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Be who you are when you're around the boys. That's the hardest thing for people to do. Is be who you are when you're around the boys and the cameras are off. If you can learn to do that, man, I mean, in all honesty, they're gonna their main thing was probably that they were in a system where they felt they had to walk on eggshells just to succeed. And once you feel like that, your creativity gets stunted. You stop suggesting things. You stop wanting to be a part of things. You stop wanting to, like, you know, create something new. Like, yo, man, I got an idea. And niggas like, yeah, we're gonna shoot that down, and we're gonna put clock radios on you. What? Yeah. No. I have an idea for us to do things. Yeah, we're gonna shut that down. And at some point, the money doesn't matter no more. You just want to be free.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing why a lot of people leave is because they want that freedom. And like, I think Jim Ross says best is like the two things that make people leave is usually cash and creative, or one or the other. And I think creative is somewhere they wanted freedom to be. If they wanted to be taken seriously as wrestlers, this is the chance of getting that freedom. I do want to ask you one more thing about tag team wrestling, but this made me laugh. The Brett comment here. The Canadian greaser.
He really was.
Yeah, there's another question. He was like the Canadian Fonzie. That's hilarious. But there's another question here. But before we get there, this is the last thing I want to talk about tag team wrestling. And it's most likely not going to happen, but we've seen it happen. And I'm trying to compare the two because I understand how important women's empowerment and everything was, but we had a women's revolution. Will there ever be anything similar to like a tag team revolution where tag team wrestling gets that appreciated in their main eventing shows? And it's like, let's put a spotlight on tag team wrestling. Because I think there's so many great tag teams still out there. And even the Revival, when they're talking about tag teams they want to work with that were outside, they're like, we want to work with the Briscoes, we want to work with the Guerrillas of Destiny, we want to work with the Young. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of good tag teams still out there.
Man. There's a lot of us.
Like, you could have a Man Young Classic, but with just tag teams for the WWE if they want to put a spotlight on tag teams, you know? And you could bring back some old tag teams. The Crime Time could come back for that tournament. You know what I mean?
It would be something like that in an environment where like this, because right now the ratings are so bad that they need something that's unique to bring attention.
Yeah.
And with the lack of tag teams they have currently, they have to think of something. But the one thing they can't do is you can't have divisions and writing be done by guys who do not have a pulse on what people want. The UFC has a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Okay. They have matchmakers meetings. And the matchmakers, you know what they do the most? Because I have voice work for the UFC.
Yeah.
They scroll through Twitter and Instagram, reading people's posts on what they want to see. Then they have an algorithm they go through and they say, would this match be interesting? Okay. And through the matchmakers, they figured out that Israel Adesanya versus Yolo Romero was a horrible match.
Yeah.
The algorithm said it. It said, this is horrible. And so they never put it on the table. And when Dana White said, let's do this fight, They said this is going to be a bad fight. And the matchmakers were right because they can tell by styles, by how people move, how the fans are reacting. Yeah, it sounds cool. It's a horrible match. I think right now, WWE is trying to figure out their algorithms and figure out what the fan. If you notice on WWE, the posts that they've been doing on the Instagram and social media, they go, "Who should join this team? Who should they fight next? What tag team do you miss in WWE?
Yeah.
What female champion do you like here?" They're asking you these questions because they're trying to figure out their fans' pulse. They're like, "What do you guys want?" You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
I feel that.
we're at the point right now where the ratings are so low, it's like, what the fuck do we have to lose?
Yeah.
I think it's like 10,000 people were watching Raw at one moment this week. 10,000?
The ratings did drop. And it's weird because like you'd assume everyone's home, that things will probably pop up, but everyone's off their schedules. People just are losing interest in watching shows without audiences. There's probably multiple reasons why the ratings drop. But like if everyone's home, like I don't know, don't you think they would go up? It's weird.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. This is our crescendo, the main event. We have Drew McIntyre. Okay, we want to put Drew in at hour number 1. Okay, at the beginning of hour number 1, or at the semi-beginning of hour number 1.
Yeah.
The main event, that storyline at the end. We need 4 points throughout the show where Drew pops back up, or something about that main event pops up to keep interest in that.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
If people aren't watching the show, it's not because of the main event. It's because there's no interest in between the announcement of the main event and the main event.
Yeah.
So they have to figure out what do they need to put inside there to make that main event sustained.
Yeah.
I want to see Drew McIntyre versus somebody. I want to see Drew McIntyre versus anybody who looks credible. But if you show me a job match, a good match, a job match, and a bad promo, it's like, okay. Mandy Rose and Otis, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Characters and storylines plays a big part. You have to be invested. We got a question from Ken. We'll probably end with this. We're at an hour and 11 minutes here. I was trying to keep it short, but
yeah, we're good.
I know we're good. I could still talk to you for like another hour and a half if we didn't have like somewhat formatted. Trust me. We got Ken Aguirre. This is a question that I think was a topic earlier this year when they're announcing Hall of Fame inductees and stuff. But and I think you'll have, because there's a negative outlook on this person, and I don't know him personally. There might, Dark Side of the Ring has kind of put a negative light on him a little bit and stuff too at times. But the question is, ask Shad if he's seen JBL hazing anyone backstage.
Oh my God. I haven't seen JBL hazing anybody on stage, Joe. Bro, I've seen JBL hazing my own partner on stage. I've seen JBL hazing like literally hundreds of guys backstage. We were an hour and 12 minutes over time right now. I can't tell you all the stories of me watching JBL hazing people.
Next week we're going to talk a lot about JBL. We'll kick off the show about JBL.
You know what? I'll say this. I'll tell this story because it's already known. I was there for the Michael Cole punch.
I don't know this.
Okay. So Michael Cole and JBL got in a fight on a plane.
Okay.
Me and Ken Dykstra kind of pushed Bradshaw a little over the edge. So we went to Iraq and Afghanistan for tribute to troops, right? And on our way back, Bradshaw decided not to drink, right? And so we're flying from Afghanistan to Germany, where we have a short layover, and then we start drinking, and then we fly back to the United States. So we're flying back home, and while we're flying, Bradshaw's not drinking. So we get on the microphone and we start playing jokes and having the cap people, for this big giant military plane say, we just want to congratulate John Bradshaw Layfield on becoming straight edge and not drinking alcohol no more. There's some sand in his vag. And we just start and Vince is like, more. So we just keep going. And we just start teasing Bradshaw at the microphone, sending him Smirnoff ices. He's getting pissed off, smacking him away. You know what I'm saying? And so finally we land in Germany for our changeover and our meal. And so we go to eating, and We get inside, and Bradshaw, we just start hammering him back. Bradshaw's hammering him back, but we're kind of like just pointing us out, like just joking around. But now he has to show off because he's like, fuck it, you're not going to, you guys ain't going to challenge me. And he pretty much drinks everybody under the table. But now he's off. Like, he's drunk as shit. Right? And he's surly, like mean, angry, just surly. And I don't remember how I just got into it, but we're back on the plane and we're flying over, and he's circling around and he's looking at Joey, and he starts saying something, and then Joey goes to get up, and Bradshaw just grabs him and rams him back in the chair, and is like, "You piece of shit! I beat your ass!" Da, 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 da. And then we are like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And so we just get Bradshaw away from him, and it's like we let it go. And Joey's like mad, and like,
when you say Joey, who's Joey?
Joey Styles.
Okay, go ahead.
So Joey's hot, and me and John Cena, we go to Joey. We're like, "Yo, man, just chill out, let it go. It's not a big deal. You know, it's Bradshaw, whatever." And Joey's like, "No, man, fuck that motherfucker." You know what I'm saying? And we're like, "Let it go." And so now we're all pretty drunk and tired. And the plane ride's kind of walk back. And Bradshaw takes a seat. He gets back up. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry. He poured beer on Joey. That's what got Joey mad.
Yeah, that would make anyone mad.
Yeah. And that's when Joey got up and he shoved him back down and talked shit. And so now some more time has passed. And Bradshaw's still a little lit.
Yeah.
And he's good, like hankering for it. So like we're all like kind of like shifting out of his way, shifting back, keep on drinking, telling stories. Yeah. You know, just like yeah, and then Bradshaw. Okay, and then and so finally he gets around to Joey again, and as he's walking past Joey, right, me and Cena are at the front of the plane, and we're on the opposite aisle, and we see Joey, and he unbuckles his seatbelt, and Bradshaw was by him, and Joey double legs him from behind, and Bradshaw goes flat and hits the ground, and then Joey gets up, and we're like, holy shit, and Joey goes, "Come on, motherfucker," and we're like, no, and Bradshaw just looks at him, hails off, and we're like, "Joey!" And me and Cena are like, "No!" Yeah. And Bradshaw just throws this wide hook, and Joey goes, "Bip, bip, bip," and we're like, and all you see Bradshaw going, and he timbers down, and Joey's like, "I told you, motherfucker! I told you, motherfucker!" And we're like,
I would never have expected when this guy commented that. I'm like, "Are you being real?" But like, you're being real.
We all jumped up and we're running across, and like Bradshaw's like, he falls into the side seats on the plane, and Joey's just like still teeing off, and we gotta pull Joey off. And then not Bradshaw, but Lauren X comes over. He goes, "What the fuck? What the fuck? We had him calm. And Joey said, fuck that, not today. Not me." And we're like, and
it's like most ECW shit ever.
Oh man, and Vince and everybody, we're all like, "Joey!" Like we were all so happy. It was just so funny because then we landed, and we have a tradition, like when we land in DC, we all get behind the plane and we take a group photo, and it's the funniest group photo ever because I have to stand. Like they told me, they're like, "Okay, Chad, you, Eki, and so have to stand over there and have to block off Bradshaw from Joey." And if you look at the photo, like we're all like hugged up like this on the back of the plane, and Vince is in the middle smiling, and you see Bradshaw just looking across, like, just looking like, "I'm gonna get that motherfucker."
Did you ever get him? Did you ever get him back?
No, but you know what the best part about it was? They've become the bestest of friends afterwards.
It is one of those situations
because Bradshaw's a bully, but Bradshaw's a great guy. He's like he's the best. So it's like it's one of those things where afterwards it's he lets it go. You know what I'm saying? And so they become the bestest of friends. I mean, I remember we used to see them in catering just laughing with each other more and more now because it's like that's just the way it is with the company. You know, once you fight somebody, you're just friends with them. You know what I'm saying? Like me and John, we got like tips. We're still friends.
Yeah.
We're like we're in a rare breed that's in this business. So, you know, you can't hold grudges. But that was like, I remember that's one of the great Bradshaw stories I have. But I remember it was just so epic because Joey was just, it was one of those Rudy moments.
Yeah.
We were just like, oh shit, Joey's gonna get fucked up. And Joey just like not today, because he did it
That's
so
amazing.
Bip, bip.
Joey Styles doing that, and that's awesome.
We could hear we got Joey down, and like remember Joey's in the seat, he's just sitting there, he's like this is sitting there, and I go back, I Joey, I say ECW. he's like fucking got him. He's so proud of himself. I love Joey Styles.
I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. That was awesome. And straight up, exactly what Tones is saying here, man. Shad has the best stories. He wants to wrestler court stories. We'll do that next week. I'll try to make sure that's on my notes. And this guy's trying to plug his barber skills, but yeah, no. I'm actually curious what wrestler court stories. We want to do this every week, guys. So I trust me. If I know Shad now, if he would share those stories, and we'll go on for like another hour. But I want to save a little bit for every week, so we have stuff to talk about. We got a little bit. But hey, we got to do this week. Right now, I got my manager. My manager is like literally blowing my phone up. Just now, I have a meeting with him right now. Yeah. But hey, so this has been another NFG. If you guys can, make sure to like, subscribe, come join us next week, and we're doing this every week. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. West Coast time. I love doing this, and we have the best fun. So, if you got any topics, let us know ahead of time. Yeah, me a comment when I post about a comment. What topics you want us to talk about? What stories you might want to hear? Whatever you want, man. You want us to review a movie? We'll review a movie. We don't care. But just let us know, and we'll do the thing. Like you said, subscribe, like it. It's on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. It's on all these other podcast streaming services too that I don't know of, but I applied to every single one. I just said apply. It's on YouTube, so subscribe to the Wrestling Classic YouTube channel. It's got its own playlist, NFG Radio. And every Friday, like you said, we're doing this every week. I'm gonna drop it every Friday night. So you can have something to listen to on the weekend. And you guys want to hear more stories, and come on through, man. And let's do it. You got a lot. Appreciate for having you again, Chad. We'll do this again next week. And yeah, man, get to your manager because do the thing. Dig it. Later.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.